Hi, this is Professor Favors, American Literature, Emily Dickinson, five poems. So we're only going to look at five poems of Emily Dickinson. Of course, there are many more. Some are dealing with her relationship to nature. Others are dealing with her relationship or perception of death. And then the last one is dealing with the contrast between truth. So let's begin. All right, this lecture is subject to fair use. All right, the soul selects her own society. The next two or three poems are sort of kind of clear. We'll go over it a little more here. But our second selection, the soul selects her own society, shows Dickinson using well known images of power and authority to celebrate the independence of the soul in the face of expectations. In both of these first two poems, readers will note the celebrations of the individual will that engages fully with life without becoming either intoxicated or enslaved. So there's that word of intoxication. All right, so let's read it. The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door on her divine majority of true no more. Unmoved, she notes the chariots pausing at her low gate. Unmoved, an emperor is kneeling upon her mat. I've known her from an ample nation. Choose one, then close the valves of her attention like stone. So, soul here is actually being personified. Soul is like a power, like a person. So, think about soul as a person. The soul selects her own society suggests choice. It also, of course, suggests power and authority. So Dickinson, even though she did travel for a short time, she did become reclusive. Um, and she stayed more home and continued to write her poetry. So she selected the life that she was going to live. So the soul selects her own society. Society in this regard can be the type of society that is higher level than everyday man society, um, which which further suggests that she can shut the door on her divine majority. So there's a contrast between her selection of her society that she is born into, and then, well, let's see. There's a everyone she's selecting or she's closing the door on her high level society. She is from the middle class or upper middle class, and so she's choosing to shut the door. The problem with that statement or those first three lines, especially when you use the divine uh, to refer to religion, is that not every soul can select their own society. Some people are born into working class societies or poor societies. Some are born in rich societies. So the soul itself selecting her own society is someone who is much older. That person is of age. That person can make the decision to select her own society because the society she was born into was a society that was already well developed. She didn't have to make any contribution to it. People before her already made contributions. And so all she had to do was just step into that society. So now that she's in the society, now that she's a part of it, she's part of a class system or social system, economic, financial system. She's utilizing the power and authority that comes with that type of society to shut the door. And the divine majority refers to class systems, right? Um, that maybe she was um, divinely birthed through that system. I'm not quite sure. And then obtrude means to become noticeably in an unwelcome or intrusive way, impose, meaning that you cannot impose upon me your society, or you cannot impose societal expectations upon me, because my soul is going to select my own society. I'm going to create my own society. So then unmoved, of course, is she's not going to change her mind. She notes the chariots pausing at her low gate. So when you make a decision to choose your own way, to go your own way, people in that society are now going to come knocking at your door and trying to figure out, where are you? What's going on with you? Why aren't you at the social gatherings? I didn't see you. You were supposed to be at the meeting. But she's unmoved in her decision in selecting her own society. She's utilizing the very same power and authority that comes with that society, that a lot of times those society members think, or they think their society is divinely ordained for them to become the majority. She's unmoved. She's not going to let them move her back into that society. And then a mood, an emperor is kneeling upon her mat. So that person usually is the one who may be on the top of the heap. So the chariots are all of the followers in their individual chariots, right? But then there's an emperor, a king, a person with higher authority over them, who is kneeling, trying to say, "Come on back, come back to the society, come back. You don't have to." Um, Ignore us. You don't have to think of us as being intrusive. I've known her from an ample nation. Choose one, then close the valves of her attention like stone. So it's sort of like this idea that you have two options. You have the option of choosing your soul, or you have the option of choosing your society. And there could be another option, but there is an appeal to the reader to choose one, and the choice is basically that act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. So there's this contrast between the soul and the society, and as long as she continues to put her soul in society, is not going to have the impact of celebrating her own independence in the face of expectations. In other words, society works like expectations, and the soul works like the individual. She's celebrating her own individuality. So the longer that she stays within society, um, the longer she would not have choice. But if she comes out of society, or she selects the type of society that she wants to abide, then she will continue to have choice. So then close the valves of her attention, valve meaning opening, like stone, meaning that my decision to select my own society is written in stone. I'm not going to change my mind. You can send all the chariots you want. You can send the emperor. You can send anybody you want, but I've already made, you can send a nation, ample nation, but I've already made my decision, and it's written in stone. So the soul selects her own society. All right, so this is the end of the presentation. Emily Dickinson resources. There's a whole museum. There's contact information, as well as a um, Emily Dickinson timeline. Thank you very much for listening.